birthday.
I love the energy over there. There's like no one here, but it's okay. I feel the love. I feel the love.
This is the COVID vibes. You know it too well, having your own podcast. Being
Mm-hmm.
able to do these interviews through Zoom is a little bit different to what we're used to. But we're sending all of our energy from the UK over to you right now. And we're so grateful to have you here, Becky.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It means the world. It's a great way to kick off the birthday festivities.
Yes. How are you going to be celebrating? Have you got any big plans?
I mean, honestly, I don't have many. I want to do something for the community, really. I'm born and raised in LA, and I feel like there's no better way than to, spend a special day helping others. That's just kind of like how I was raised. And 24 is just so crazy to think about because, I mean, where I was last year on my birthday and what I thought, was going to happen. I thought 23, it's my Jordan year, I'm going to get everything I ever dreamed of and I'm accomplish all my goals. And then a couple days later, I started my quarantine and here we are still. And so it's given me a lot of time to just really reflect on, who I am and what I'm all about. And I think that there's no other way I would want to spend my birthday than doing something in the community. So I have a couple different ideas and I'm working on it with my team internally to see how I can get out there in the streets and help my fellow neighbors.
I love that. You're always so inspiring, Becky. And I mean, we can't wait to see what it is you get up to. So we'll be watching all of your socials and keeping an eye. But right now we're here on the podcast and we're going to start a little bit with your career. Obviously, you've got this incredible career and you've been signed as an artist now for almost 10 years and at just the age of 24, which is pretty wild. How does it feel knowing that you've been in the industry for such a long time?
It's a whirlwind of emotions, to be honest, because I feel that a part of me feels like I'm just getting started. I think a lot of people who are, older than me would definitely agree with that. They'd be like, you're only 24. But then there's this other part of me that I think anyone, who's been working with me since those early days, especially like my managers who are like family to me, they met me at 13 years old and then I got signed when I turned 14 and I've always been this like old soul and I've always just felt like this is what I was meant to do. And so 10 years feels like an eternity at the same time as like light work. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of, it's just what I do. So it 10 years feels like it kind of flew by. A lot's happened in 10 years, but.
That's literally what I was going to say. So much has happened in those 10 years. Like you've come such a long way. And I mean, you were 16 when you released your first EP, Play It Again. How was it in that moment? Like, what did it mean to you at that time to be releasing music and your first very own EP?
Yeah, I think it was a huge accomplishment. I think, growing up watching documentaries about your favorite artists and, their live shows and things like that, like to be a signed artist and to get signed to a record label is like one of the biggest accomplishments you could, get to as an artist. And I felt like to release my first project at such a young age as a signed artist is definitely like a thing that I look back on that I learned so much. When I first got signed, I also got signed as a songwriter. And so I would be in the studio Monday through Saturday, literally like writing from morning till night. I mean, rewriting songs, I don't know how many times. And I'd go back to my team and be like, I don't know if there's any other words in the dictionary. And it's like, just try it again. I know there's better from you. And so it's just that building of my confidence as an artist. And to be honest, I mean, you never stop evolving. I've learned a lot in 10 years, but I know that there's so much more to learn. But I really thought I had it all down, at 16. And here I am at 24 thinking like, wow, still so much more to go.
But that's so like incredible. It's 16 years old. You mentioned that. And I've heard you speak before about these long studio days you had from 7 a.m. till 4 a.m. And you're so young. Where do you kind of think you got your work ethic from to be such a hard worker and so creative so young?
I think it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. I think a lot of individuals who grow up in neighborhoods like the ones I grew up in or come from minority communities, we all know what that struggle can be like for our community. And I feel like for me, it was more of a blessing because I knew how to channel that energy for the better through, tools that were creative, that really were a form of self-expression for me. But it's just high functioning anxiety of not wanting to let anybody down, of wanting to do a good job, of wanting to provide for your family. And
Mm.
that, clicked for me at 9 years old. I started working in this industry professionally at before I was double digits, so it's been a long time coming. And I think that now that I've evolved as a person, I can see some things that definitely served me well, and then some things that I'm
Mm.
learning to unlearn, as far as the pressure that comes with growing up in such a tough industry. It's a small world for sure. And there's a lot going on, and it's easy to like kind of lose yourself at moments and
Yeah.
kind of feel like, wait, why am I here? Why am I doing this?
Mm.
But
Mm.
that sense of purpose has always come back to my family. It's always come back to my community, to show, young women, just our youth in general who come from places like where I come from, that nothing's
Mm.
impossible. It's not impossible.
And do you think that kind of it's your family and your upbringing that's kept you grounded? Because, a lot of people that have been young stars like yourself since such a young age talk about kind of all the trials and tribulations that you go through. And I mean, you seem like such a grounded, such a caring, loving girl. So do you think that's something that's really played a part in your journey?
Thank you. Wow, those are some very nice words to hear. I'm glad that's what it looks like on the outside. Because that's how
She's like, yeah,
that's. I'm like, I'm not all well put together. Let me tell you. No, I mean, as far as like my heart, that means a lot to me that you can see that, because I really
Mm.
do put my heart in everything that I do. And I may not always do things the right way, whatever that
Mm.
means, but I always do it with the best of intentions. And I think that throughout these years, my family really has been, that compass for me. They humble me in that sense of,
Mm.